All right, the visuals you're looking at right now on your screens, Prime Minister Modi, as you can see, heading out. This is after the set of meetings that he's had with the US President Donald Trump. We'll continue to bring you more context. The Indian Prime Minister there towards the end, the tail end of a two-day visit in the United States. All right, you can see him boarding on your screens the official plane for the Indian Prime Minister. He's bidding adieu to the senior officials from the United States who have gathered there. And it's a chilly 4 degrees centigrade over there, which is why you can see the Prime Minister jacketed up. Okay, we're just going to go back to our guests to understand a little bit more, but we'll keep one eye on these visuals. The Prime Minister leaving the United States after a 2-day visit to meet the US President Donald Trump. The 4th leader to do so, as the US President came back into an office he had occupied about 4 years ago. Okay, let's go back to our guests, James Russell, the Associate Professor for the Department of National Affairs, and Sarah Spector, an attorney and political expert. Both remain with us to shed a light. We also now are joined by an Indian voice, Purnima Nath. She's a geopolitical observer and former US Congress candidate who will be joining us. Let's just go over first to James to understand a little bit more. James, if you could just tell us, we haven't talked so much, we've spent a lot of time talking in the last few minutes about the tariffs. We haven't talked about the visas, the big question around H-1B visas. In the last few days, right as the US President came into power, we saw what seemed like were contradictory statements, not just from the US President, also from Elon Musk and other senior officials within the US administration. I just want to ask you, it was believed that this may or may not be a conversational topic that was addressed in this meeting. But there were some experts who said that no, this is a topic that should be left to Silicon Valley to lobby for, that the Indian Prime Minister need not bring it up. I want to understand your own view of the topic. How do you think India could navigate it, and where do you think the topic stands as we speak?
Well, I think it was your foreign minister in the briefing that said that this was in fact covered in the discussions between the leaders. And of course, again, getting back to the campaign, this was a big issue for President Trump. And so it's going to be front center of meetings that he's going to have with foreign leaders. And in the case of the Indian-American kind of relationship, there are tens of thousands of Indians in the United States today at our institutions. And we have a very sizable and very vibrant Indian-American community today, which was highlighted by the fact that you're going to be opening a couple of more consulates here in the United States. So. And just speaking again as a citizen, I wish we had more Indians in the United States. I mean, they contribute greatly to the economic and cultural and political vitality of our country, and we're lucky to have them in the United States. So my guess is again, and something I should have emphasized in my previous remarks. I think that both countries have an interest in making sure that these kinds of issues, like visas, for example, and immigration, don't stand in the way of trying to develop this more comprehensive strategic partnership. The issue of visas is a more kind of technical issue, I think, and I don't see it as a big political problem between the two countries. But I think to the extent there are problems, I think it's incumbent upon both leaders who see the broader strategic and political framework of the American-Indian relationship, that this issue is not going to be allowed to disrupt, delay, or deny the development of this better developed political and strategic partnership because of our congruent interests to appear more politically aligned in the Indo-Pacific with the rise of China, again, as my colleagues have remarked.
Okay, James, stay with us. I'll actually request